You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
Interesting fact, just because you mentioned Josh Hartnett, and we're talking about a Paul Rudd movie.
Yeah.
Do we know what their both actors' first movies were?
They were in Halloween's.
Paul Rudd's Halloween 6, Josh Hartnett's Halloween 7. So.
Interesting.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And he had the like I saw Halloween 7 in the theater, and like it was like, yeah, you could tell Josh Hartnett was like,
yeah.
And Paul Rudd's good in Halloween 6, even though that movie's terrible.
I don't know that I can identify.
Speaking of terrible movies, this drove me to the spoilers of Overnight Drive. Why were the movie creators of the Farx brothers? I'm Kirk.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Nick.
And we're joined by Barry Andersson, director, producer. This is spoilers. Go ahead. I interrupted you just so I can introduce the show.
Barry's not a horror guy. That's the most important thing. I don't know that I understand the spark thing you think you're seeing on Paul Rudd, other than just I know I recognize his face now.
I think he means they don't have chemistry in the movie. Is that
you don't think
right?
Reese and Paul do?
I don't think they do.
In moments.
Oh.
There's moments in the movie where you see that there's a connection between the two of them.
Talk about one specific one, please.
I mean,
break it down.
I think it's maybe when I can't remember if it was when he woke her up from a nap or if it was like one of her things where she kind of just, talked to him maybe right before he went to go when he was at campus at the end. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of just like, you're being an idiot. And you see the sincerity in her and you see him being the clueless guy that hasn't quite caught up to what's been happening. So it's usually any interplay between the two of them where they've knocked off they just let it breathe for a moment and they, usually actors do better when you have them do less. It's usually my note with actors, especially younger actors that are less experienced. It's like, you don't need to try to do it all. Just be in the moment and it comes through. So when I say like a spark, is it like there are people like take the chemistry spark out. When you watch Paul Rudd, we'll go back to Glen Powell. Glen Powell looks great when you put him on screen. He looks great. There's just nothing there. There's nothing that pops through that makes me be like, I want to spend more time with you. It's like, I'm not going to like fight you if I have to spend time with you, but it's not like I want more.
And you didn't see Hitman or Everybody Wants Them, just...
Correct.
Okay, cool.
But I did see, I think, his most likable
I forgot he was in Twisters.
chemistry role was in, what's the movie where, Hidden Figures. His Glen Powell in that.
That's what I walk away from Hidden Figures with is Glen Powell.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying from him, there was something there. And so I was like, oh, he's intriguing. Then it's like that sort of thing where... the Coke versus Pepsi taste test? You know how that works?
How does it work?
Back when they used to do that and everybody would pick Pepsi. The reason is Pepsi's sugarier. So a little sip, you like the sugar hit. But if you're going to drink a lot of it, it gets too sugary, so you want the Coke. Glen Powell is Pepsi. He's too sugary. You can have him in a little dose, but you get too much, and it's like...
too much.
Whereas Paul Rudd is like Coke. The more you consume, it's a nice even. You're like, I like spinning. I like this guy. I want to be here.
I was a fan of. Oh yeah, get that.
I was gonna interrupt you.
No, you go.
With my crack. Yeah.
Crack.
He hung out with that crew of people, the David Wayne group, the
Wet Hot American Summer.
Wet Hot American Summer.
Michael Showalter.
What? Okay, cool. Basically, I'm looking at people's what's the intellectual tribe from which they were formed? Mm-hmm. And I associate Paul Rudd with David Wayne, who then got into the frat pack with, the Will Ferrells, and he made Role Models with Sean William Scott and McLovin. And, I don't see a lot of range acting-wise there. And with Glen Powell, I see... range, because he can do characters. You haven't seen Hitman, but he can. And when he's in a Richard Linklater movie, I want to hang out with most people in a Richard Linklater movie, unless, he doesn't want me to hang out with them because it's the deadbeat, surrogate father that's getting alcohol in Boyhood as the first one I can think of. Are you an anti-Richard Linklater because you don't like Steven Soderbergh?
I don't. I mean, I'd much rather watch a Richard Linklater movie than any Steven Soderbergh movie. You're making a slight pivot.
Oh, I do that.
In terms of the range of an actor versus you can take somebody like Tom Cruise. There are times where he stretches, but a lot of times people go see Tom Cruise because I like Tom Cruise. That's a crackle.
They know it's an action movie. I think more than that.
But I'm just saying, a lot of his movies is very. Will Smith used to be that way. Like, there are certain people that you go to see that product, and we don't want you to deviate too much from that product. And then you have the people like Christian Bale that's like all over the place. You can kind of go in. I've seen character actors that aren't necessarily crackle, but they're good at what they do. Having both, where you can be a great actor and have an it factor, that's a smaller subsection. So I'm not saying that Paul Rudd can give, say, Christian Bale run for his money with his range, but I'm going to tell you that people are going to love watching Paul Rudd in a movie because of how he translates through the screen. People will react to that, and that is not something you can learn. It's
your ineffable quality that comes with your humanness or whatever.
Talk about it in politicians. Some people go in a room and you're like, oh, that person affected me. Paul Rudd affects people. That's something you're reading that comes through on screen.
That's true for Reese Witherspoon too. Is that people like her, and I don't see a lot of range there either.
But did you like her in this movie?
Not range of character. She can do range of emotion. I haven't seen her do.
But we're just talking specifically this movie, though. Did you like her character in this movie?
The dumb reason is because she wasn't a blonde. Because they needed to contrast her with Christine Taylor. So I didn't associate her with her she's always type A in her movies, and this movie she wasn't type A. So it was sort of against her.
But again,
type.
You're asking about range. If you were betting on an actress, her career has been stratospherically successul.
Because she didn't do the right blood rituals that Christine Taylor didn't do or whatever. I don't know. I think I think there's some Monday morning quarterback too. Well, look at this person's success. You don't know what compromise they had on the people who were casting the movies.
Yes, you do. That's how casting agents get to be successful, is you go back and you watch these movies where they cast all these young people. The fact that they cast Reese Witherspoon, Paul Rudd, Christine Taylor, Sarah Silverman, you got all these people. That's a pretty big home run back then, because they didn't have it. Obviously Paul Rudd had been in some things, but when people were thinking Clueless at the time, they weren't talking about Paul Rudd. He had not yet become Paul Rudd. So these were early swings, with some intelligence, because a lot of times by the time you become a movie star, you've been in things that they've screened for people before they came out to the general public. So there's some sense of you're not terrible. So I don't think it's 100% Monday Man. And the only reason I remember this movie is because Paul Rudd and Reese Witherspoon were in it. Because when I watched it, I was like, wow, these are pretty good people coming. I didn't realize at the time they weren't from Minnesota. Sort of thing. You'd see first come out oh,
they must be Minnesotans.
I got people coming out here, and then you're like, oh no, they flew them in because we need different actors in town. But they stuck with you because of the fact that even though it's not a great movie, there was something there that a lot of times in those quote unquote straight to DVD movies, you just light the whole thing on fire because it's why bother?
I want to do my Kermit where I just sip and hear Nick really rip into this movie because he kept going, I don't like this movie, it's bad writing.
No, I didn't say I didn't like the movie, I said I don't like the script.
That's right. You're right.
That's the struggle of being a horror guy, because you like movies. I like all genres now, but I grew up only liking horror. And so that's still my go-to genre, but so many of them are bad, but some of them still I'll go watch every Scream movie in the theater. And especially the new batch, since 2022 one, and now terrible writing. They're bad. They're not good, but I'll still go and like the movie. But I know the whole time this is a shitty movie. But that's the struggle of being a horror. But so I was saying I didn't like the movie. I'm the script is pissing me off.
Well, I also didn't like the tonal shifts of this wacky. What was the John Cusack movie I compared this to?
Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead, in that it's a love story, but there's this other thing, it's a road trip movie instead of a ski movie. Okay. This movie wanted to be weird, but wasn't weird in the right way. You're familiar with Better Off Dead?
Yeah, it's an infinitely better movie than this.
Well, of course, but
this
why
is
is that?
Because the writing and the directing are awful.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I disagree.
you could go. I mean, I don't know if you knew this, but you know who came in and a rewrite on this at the last
Joss
one?
Whedon.
No. Kevin Smith.
Oh,
What?
that's why
I was wondering because is this better or worse than Mallrats? I'm like, this actually might be better than Mallrats because
we saw his special thanks credit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's
that explains
So
it.
some of the dialogue that works is because again,
how do you know that?
I know things. I know
Whoa,
things.
you know.
You can Google.
You can Google that specifically.
He was brought in to do rewrites.
No, I believe that, but I don't know for sure that a line that you liked he wrote specifically, and that it wasn't
because the rest of the script is so bad. I am pretty sure that any of the dialogue, I'm like, oh, that kind of worked. It's probably Kevin Smith. I might not bat 1,000, but I would. I mean, it is pretty obvious when it's not working, and then when it does. Since he mostly was dialogue writing, I'm assuming that was the good stuff.
There's a line early on, Paul Rudd on the phone. He says something about phone sex spiel, which is a really flat, like it's not even. It's like trying to be a joke. It's not even a joke. That I feel like was Jason Blum, and but I feel like I can't think of the examples, but I know there was stuff that was way better than that. Elsewhere in the movie later on, that was probably Kevin Smith then.
So it's also interesting to see a movie where you have people that you can see what Kevin Smith has did. So he's punched up other scripts, and you're like, oh, so then they were aware that they had problems, but the train had left the station, and like a lot of indie films, you got to tape Band-Aids everywhere, and it's not going to be great. But again, if I was interviewing somebody, to hire. This director would not be able to convince me that they have talent. But there are other directors that I've seen their work, and you're like, oh, and you talk to them, and you're like, well, they're aware that there was problems. And you can know, okay, if you didn't have those limitations, I might. That's not here. So I'd be plucking out the talent from this, not the
director,
the director or writer.
Yeah, because I feel like the problems with this movie weren't because of budget. I don't know what I guess the budget was like $10 million.
If you're able to do a number of highway chases they did.
We were driving down. Okay, is it Ide Mill Road or Aid Mill Road?
Do you say Ide Mill?
I say Ide Mill.
That's what I thought too.
But I don't know.
I grew up in the UP. Don't listen
when
to me.
he's getting dragged down the thing, like that's fun. So you had to have some money to do that. I guessed it was like a 10, maybe a $15 million.
This would be easy to look up. They do have these numbers easily.
They don't always
but
do
it's
on IMDb. But
the thing is you can tell, like that scene when he got dragged and he gets up and you see his basically ass chaps on there. That should have been much funnier than it was. Because it was kind of like this lazy, she says something.
Oh, because it doesn't surprise you when his ass shows up. Nick was like, his ass is going to show up. And I was like, kind of, this movie's ridiculous. So, of course.
And it's like her reaction to it was like, she kind of laughs. Like, it's all very on the nose, no thought, nothing clever. Like, there's not, it's just like, I'm going to be wide, I'm going to be this, I'm going to do that. And it was like, they would always pivot. Because like they would get into this argument and then they're like, but we got to keep him in the car. Yeah. So we'll just pretend like we didn't have this fight and just go back to normal. And that's just tonally on the director and writer, and they didn't do it well. But if you can overcome that, there you got something real special. Which is when I saw it originally, seeing the stars, being able to overcome part of that. And I'm a sucker because going back to what we talked about before. It Happened One Night is the first kind of road screwball romantic comedy movie. When done well, they're phenomenal. So I like the setup, but it just doesn't work, except for you have this bright, shining star that actually showcases really well. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but going to the airport at the Minneapolis Convention Center
we noticed
pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So,
it works for a movie.
It does. But it's funny because you rarely, I mean, must happen all the time, but we don't get as much coverage of Minneapolis as you do in here. So it's fun as a filmmaker to go, oh.
When you watch Jingle All the Way every year with your family, do you not point out every neighborhood?
See, the problem is I have a special history with that movie.
Oh.
So I don't think about anything other than my experience. Do you want to hear that story?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Ahead.
That's why we have people on the podcast.
A friend of mine wanted to go see a movie being shot. So we were in high school. And fun fact for...
You went to high school?
junior high. I did finish high school.
Good.
I don't know if my IQ would support that, but I do have a document somewhere in a box. But I
have a paper that says
for my career day in middle school, I actually went to another movie that was shot here called The Mighty Ducks.
Oh, nice.
What's that about?
So I went and spent the day on Mighty Ducks for my career day. I think I have one of the best career days ever. So I'd already had the Hollywood treatment. So now I was jaded by the time I was in high school. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're shooting a movie. My friend wants to go see it, and it was cold. It's winter. So he's like, I want to go. I said, okay, let's go. But I'm like, I'm not standing 6 blocks away all day freezing. So they were shooting on a street corner. It's when they're going to go into, like, I think they pull away in the, I don't know if it was the mail truck, but it was the scene between Sinbad and Arnold in front of a building. So there's a corner. These 2 corners, they're shooting. This corner has all the extras they're pulling from. This corner is going to be, if you're here watching, you're not going to be in the movie. So we're standing over here, can't see anything. So I told my friend, like, let's go over in the extra street. Let's go over there. He's like, because they're not gonna know. There's so many people. He's like, we're gonna get in trouble. I'm like, no. So we waited for the 80s, turn around, ran over here. Again, on this side of the street, you have all the production trucks, all the trailers back here. So the actors walk up. So we're trying to like see them when they're gonna come out. And I don't know what possessed me that day, but I was like, I just turned to him. I said, do you want to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Did you know Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, I didn't. Okay. Of course not. And I was just like, and he's like, no, well, yeah, but like we can't. I'm like, just when I tell you, cross the street with me. He's like, we're going to get you. I'm like, just trust me. So, the second AD was yelling at everyone. He was just unhinged, foaming at the mouth. Just, I don't know what was happening in his day. He was losing his mind. Something blows up.
I thought the second AD was supposed to be at the office coordinating things. The first
I think
AD
they
sends
maybe
the
had
third.
like 8 ADs. So the second was like, managing this.
The excesses of the night.
So he blows up and runs away, and I noticed there's nobody looking. So I said, now. And I ran across the street over by the trucks. And my friend chickened out and did not come with me.
Yeah.
So I turned around, and I was like, and he's like, whoa. So it did not take very long before the guy comes running up to me, grabs me, and says, what are you doing? I said, I'm just a PA. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Nice cover.
And he's like, stand right here and make sure nobody gets on set. And he walks away. So now I'm on the corner. I'm the lord of the corner.
Nice.
You were working the corner.
There is craft service that I'm partaking in. I'm talking to the Teamsters. They bring out Sinbad. I wave at Sinbad. Arnold comes out. Sticks out his hand. Nice to meet you, Arnold. He walks away. Look at my friend across the street.
Do an Arnold impression, please.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, yeah.
And my friend's looking at me like, so he had to stay there all day because now I was working. So I finished out the day uncredited on Jingle All the Way.
You didn't get paid?
No, then they would have known I wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be. I got paid because I got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger and got to hang out for the day. So I always look for that scene to remember where I was standing when I shook Arnold Schwarzenegger's hand.
Okay.
Wow.
I'll bring this up next time this year.
Yeah.
When it goes on, when it pacifies. Jingle All the Way might kind of be like F1 in that it gets my in-laws and my parents like, oh yeah, this is cinema. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's an enjoyable watch. Is it the best Christmas movie? No, but it's still.
Here's the argument against the theory of enshittification of everything that I want to go against.
Okay.
Is that overnight delivery would not be made today, and that isn't a bad thing because the talents will be better used elsewhere. The Reese Witherspoon, who is a 22-year-old in this movie, 20. There's a 22-year-old Reese Witherspoon now that's going to be on like a series or something, and she's going to get a lot more work because she's on a series or something, and then when she's in whatever is the blockbuster of the 2030s, 2040s, she'll have gotten better work from doing series than being in some madcap 90s movie most people would have forgotten about because it, that's
but my argument is now we have less famous directors. We have more famous actors.
I think we have more famous directors.
Really? You think so? No way.
What do you mean? What's a famous director?
Jordan Peele right now, he's kind of famous with Us.
Well, when we say famous, we mean the normies, right? Because like this is like if you're listening to this, you're not normal. So, this is not you're not talking about.
I mean, like who's the Steven Spielberg of today?
Yeah,
James
Cameron. I don't name two other people.
Have those stars. I think the capable working directors went from 100 down to like 3. So I think that mid-tier of working quality.
How do you know there aren't people that are working in TV that are getting just as much? Like, and that's expanded because hey, there are more 8-episode series that need.
I have a notebook that I have that when I watch things and something stands out to me, I write it down, whether it's a movie or TV show. The number of times I write something down from a TV show, even of the classic ones, is so infrequent because TV is a different medium.
I agree.
And so they are learning for that medium. I still have a love affair with films. And I don't think we've had now the golden era of television probably started
1998.
I was going to say late 90s. So name the Reese Witherspoon equivalent that came out of any series since 1998 that started as a star in a series that now would be anywhere in the stratosphere of recognition of Reese Witherspoon.
Edie Falco.
Edie Falco? Who's that?
She's on Sopranos, but like
what's she
she's
doing
in
now?
Avatar, and she's Nurse Jackie. She's been in several series.
So she's TV.
Well, she's made as much as Reese Witherspoon.
She's definitely not made as much as Reese Witherspoon.
No. Reese Witherspoon. Well, no, because she was.
I'm just saying, just of acting.
But Reese Witherspoon does TV now and does it a lot because
you want to know why?
Because of money.
Correct.
Yes.
Because she got to the position to do that. Now, my question is the TV she's producing now her best work?
No. Big Little Lies sucks. Little Fires Everywhere. Okay.
See, that's the thing though. That television work is the step after. Okay, I've done all these fucking movies. I've done all the Legally Blondes. I've done all this.
Well, and she built a company that she sold. Just
Sure.
so we're clear on that.
Part of
That's
part
more
of
of her wealth
being
than
a
anything
successful film actress, and now it's just like the stage of the career is like, well, now I have this storied history. I can be involved in a TV show that fucking sucks, and now that TV show is gonna be.
Oh, but I don't think people know the show sucks. Like Big
I don't
Little
care.
Lies
The idea is that I can do these shows that
Tarantino talks about, the 10 movies because at some point as an artist you wake up and you don't realize that you've lost your fastball. That happens, actors, directors,
everyone.
It's very rare to get somebody that makes it to, someone like Martin Scorsese, who still can from time to time throw a fastball when he's like in his 80s. That's the atypical thing.
The director, he's the example of the director that works with other directors, though, because he casts directors to be in his movies who want to learn from him for the day.
But it's the sort of thing where I don't think that TV actresses, they might be recognizable. I mean, you have someone like Noah Wiley, who became popular on ER, tried to do some movies, went back, was a TNT star for a while. Now
Falling Skies, baby.
So they have these things, but he stayed in that world and people love him, but he was never nominated for Academy Awards. He was never that's
a stupid goal that does not make good art.
Correct. But what there is a because it's I mean, art is there, you can't always rank it on what's best, but there is like a standard of like, we would like to try to push to get to X, and on TV it's like, I just want butts and seats. And like it used
that's not true in the movies. That's a lie. And the only reason you think it's not true is because the Academy Awards went to homework movies before the streamers fucked the movie business up.
What?
Homework movies?
I mean, that's a separate problem. I'm just saying, like, what happened is as we had people who greenlit movies that went away from saying, like, I'm willing to lose money because this is a unique concept that will matter somehow. Those people don't exist anymore.
What about 28 years later, Bone Temple? I mean, isn't that a pretty decent, good movie that's being made now? What?
I mean,
yeah, but it did make a lot of money in the box office, and now they're.
But
relative to what it
money
cost.
versus being good are two separate things. Like,
Sure.
You want both.
Ideally, you marry both, but again, that's been, you want something that can have a perpetuity, like 10, 20, 30 years from now. People remember lines about it, scenes from it, how they felt about it. I don't think that most things now you get that way, because it's just you sit back and you let it pour. Like waiting in line, going out, doing these things. You're creating sensory notes that will be burned in differently than just, okay, I'll watch this. Okay, I'll watch this. And I think the movie that we're talking about, Overnight Delivery, I would question if you could find a straight to Netflix movie today that you think is infinitely better than this, kind of at that same
Bad
level.
Trip.
Bad
Not
Trip?
at the same level. That's road movie.
Like you can't just take like
Trip movie?
the best movie I saw on Netflix. I mean, this was a straight to deep. So you got to go deep in the catalog, and I bet you this is probably has better like ingredients than the deep cut in Netflix has for ingredients, because you're gonna not find anybody on the cast that has any juice. And if you look at that,
No one has
20
juice anymore. The juice is
you do.
intellectual property. The juice is not individuals.
But that's
They're not
because you're allowing it to.
I actually like the idea of the lionizing through legal earning mechanisms, which is what IP is. That being elevated over individuals, because I don't believe in, I'm not some Nietzscheist who believes that some individuals are superhumans. I don't like that. Like, the problem is that when a Tom Cruise movie is bad, I blame Tom Cruise. It probably wasn't Tom Cruise's fault, although he was a producer on the movie. He was giving his best effort.
Tom Cruise is very similar to like The Rock. When you just pick things, like they know they can make money, and they'll just put, friends and family around them, someone they get along with, but there's not like this. The reason that Tom Cruise is better than like The Rock in the terms of is I believe that Tom Cruise is driven enough to like, I will almost kill myself to do this to promote, where The Rock doesn't have that driven, but they don't work with great directors to make great content.
Bullshit.
They just make their
Tom
content.
Cruise actually has worked with great directors is the difference.
I'm saying at this point
Anymore, yeah.
like The Rock never really worked with great directors, but now that they are their own entities that sell themselves, it's again Adam Sandler, same thing. It's like they
He
become
works
this
with great directors.
rarely.
You're probably talking about Uncut Gems, but,
and when he makes
Barry's
Greta
talking about
Gerwig's
like
husband.
all of
I'm
his
just saying, like
Netflix
the brand,
stuff.
like when he works with when any of these people work with a great director, they go to the great director's card. They don't become the Adam Sandler movie.
No, what's his name? Birdman director's making a Tom Cruise movie, Digger, that's coming. Alejandro.
In Inarritu?
Yeah, Inarritu is making a Tom Cruise movie, Digger, this year. And I don't know. I think that'll be the one battle after another of this year.
Could be. We'll see. I mean, I like him as a director. I'll be curious at this point how malleable Tom Cruise is to.
Did you see that? Did you see him dance in that teaser?
Yeah. I mean, he was great in Tropic Thunder. Absolutely.
Exactly what I thought.
Knocked
When
it
you're
out of
like,
the park.
see, that's the thing is like Tom Cruise actually has an example of where he can like go all out.
Yeah.
The Rock on SNL has kind of shown that he has some range.
No, let's just say Tom Cruise is more talented than The Rock. But I'm just saying, like, you're just talking about brands that you pump out.
See, and that's the thing is that some of what we're talking about is art, some of what we're talking about is brand, some of what we're talking about is commerce, and sometimes these things have dirty.
Let me take the one that best represents everything you said is Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's a brand.
He's a brand.
Art, and
he makes money.
Yeah. Unless it's Apple's
I don't necessarily love
movie.
everything, but like what I do appreciate about Leo is when you hear him talk, there's a singular focus is I want this to be great and I'm going to give everything to it. That is a very different thing than The Rock being like, we know you're going to like it. It's like he's selling fluff, and Leo, even if it doesn't work, you're like, that guy fought for it. And sometimes, because I mean, it's art. Sometimes it whiffs. But I feel like Leo's the last of that trifecta, but I don't think it has to be the last of it. Like, I think it's possible to have another person create a brand, create standard. Because at the end of the day, you can choose who you work with. You can fight for better material, and the more people that are looking at this up here, then you'll get more Leos.
But if
you're talking about an orthodoxy though that has a hierarchy, which I don't believe in.
Yeah.
I want to pivot to you, but I always want to be an apostate to any sort of orthodoxy that the most faithful would try to put on my art.
I don't know what that means.
Orthodoxy meaning this is the way it should be. That's what I feel like you're saying when it's like there's this tier of movie that has, like Harold and Kumar is a better movie than Overnight Delivery. And like if you ask me my 5 favorite movies, Harold and Kumar would probably be up there, but he'd be like, well, that's not Capra-esque. And I was like, no,
the question, your favorite movie is a different question than like what do you think the 5 greatest movies of all time are?
I don't think that there's an answer to that question that is true.
Correct, but there is a shift. I don't think you would put Harold and Kumar as one of the 5 best movies of all time. We might disagree on what the 5 are, but like there are movies, like I said, National Treasure, I enjoy, I will watch when it's on. If you said what's the 5, I would never put National Treasure. That does not mean
I will watch when it's on is a phrase that doesn't make sense in today's media consumption environment.
Oh, because you watch it streaming anytime you want?
The I will watch it when it's on is going away.
You know what that is now? Dying. When you have a group of people and you're trying to come up with something that everybody will enjoy watching, National Treasure is on that list to throw out, regardless of the age and the group you're in. That is something we can throw on, and if people haven't seen it,
that makes it a better movie to me. To be quite honest, that makes it a better movie than whatever won the Academy Award the year National Treasure came out, and I don't remember what year it was.
And that's fine because they're like things like Citizen Kane is not for everybody. But as an art form, that has more value to the language of cinema.
Orson Welles making dirty sex jokes to the guy that ran a newspaper at the time. Rosebud is the nickname for the clitoris of.
That's a pretty deep cut trivia.
Because the papers at the time were kind of like Fox News.
Time doesn't lie, though. People still talk about Citizen Kane in a way they're never going to talk about Harold and Kumar.
Have you seen Citizen Kane?
Yes.
Film.
Okay. And I was the one saying I like Harold and Kumar. I get how Overnight Delivery is kind of similar. I was criticizing it for being episodic, but Harold and Kumar and Road Trip, which almost seemed to rip off a bigger element of this plot, is also episodic. But I didn't mind that as much. But as someone who defended Harold and Kumar last night, I'm going to say Harold and Kumar is not going to be talked about the way Citizen Kane. And we're not. This is not subjective because of time. We have decades of. And Harold and Kumar is over 20 years old too now. It's never going to be talked about by the way Citizen Kane is.
And it's not to say that it's not a denigration to Harold and Kumar. It's like
it's the greatest line of the night.
It is like architecture. Like if you go back and watch some Italian beautiful thing, you would never build that again today. You're not going to go in St. Louis and be like, I'm going to model this after the Basilica thing in this small town. It's a different piece.
That's not how you say it. I'm going to model the greatest thing that has ever existed in Cincinnati. It'll be spaghetti with chili.
But I mean, you take something like the pyramids. People to this day are like, how is it built? There's
aliens.
There is a something that captures people. That there are the Burj Khalifa is interesting. 3,000 years they're gonna be talking about that versus I don't know, but I'm saying there is a standard of which somehow collectively as humans how we react to things matter.
They will talk about Fast and Furious 7 when they flew when they flew the car off the Burj Khalifa.
If we're gonna argue for the Fast and Furious has one great movie and that's Fast 5.
Oh, you're that guy.
Then you can argue about which ones are worthy to watch in ranking them. But Fast 5, they actually that was a good movie.
Will you watch it now?
Fast 5. I thought you did see it
already.
Yeah.
If you watched 4 on a
five is the one that's
that's what I've heard. 5 is the one. If you're gonna watch one, that's 5.
Which is that's a totally different movie than the first 2. It's they're in the same franchise, but the first 2 feel like this because it's such a smaller.
Well, the first one came out in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying.
It's within Overnight Delivery.
Then the third one, they just went to Tokyo and they're like, it's the same franchise, but not. Then 4 through became what they were. So it's weird. It's a franchise, but they're very disjointed.
With the kid from Sling Blade in Tokyo Drift. I'm just saying.
All right.
Who then builds rockets in 9. right?
Yeah, they are out of
Yes.
space. Yeah.
That fucking. Oh my God.
Well, do you think Hollywood will ever get back to that high standard? I mean, right now we're just seeing things that aren't artistic. How do we get back to that?
Can I counter an idea? Is
Yeah.
that like decentralized cinema creation
Uh-huh.
is now more possible? So I wouldn't be. I personally am not putting my faith in Hollywood. I'm saying somewhere in the United States, our resources will help build. Because we invented. This to some degree. It's ours, cinema. Like, we spread it to the world. I think you've said to me that it's the third largest,
At one point, I haven't looked up maybe, but I mean, it's like major export. We don't export a lot. This was a big one.
culture cannot be measured necessarily.
Oh, Hollywood's no longer culture.
I agree.
That died.
That's changed.
No, it died. They killed it. There is no culture.
Hollywood killed culture? Its cultural impact, I mean?
Yeah.
Did that die in 2019 or when did that die?
It was before
I mean, it
that.
was dying before then, but then it's now. I mean, there is no cultural. I think it has almost no cultural significance anymore.
Was overnight delivery the peak?
No.
I think it was maybe just before the peak.
Whoa.
The mid
That's
2000s?
early.
Like
Yeah.
right after 9/11?
No.
Like right after Lord of the Rings. That's when the fucking peak is? I would be willing to accept that.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I've never gone back and tried to track when it started to go. But the problem is like as there aren't movie stars, as there's not people who are creating art and saying, I'm willing for this one to be off the wall, but because it's this, then people pull from that. Like it's like a palette. When we just make one thing, to, that dopamine hit, that's kind of like social media. But every once in a while, it's like Mr. Rogers did the different. When they made his show, he's like, I'm going to make sure that kids have just time to breathe and time to do this. And it was weird. And now all these years later, people are like, wow, he was a genius. And they keep trying to crank out all this. And you're like, then the kids will still be like, we should go back and watch Mr. Rogers because that has a different effect. You need more than one effect. You want something to keep your kids entertained. You want them to learn something. You want these different things. But now we just keep saying the algorithm says people watch this. So it just gets smaller and they just make them worse and worse. And it just is forgettable content, which that you kill culture because if you can never remember anything, a line, a person, I remember when I saw that person, I remember that, when those don't happen anymore, that's not part of culture. Like nobody gets around the water cool and talks about anything. They're like, oh, I was like 137,000 deep in Netflix and I found this weird movie called Overnight Delivery. Have you seen it? That's not how this conversation goes.
Was Stranger Things culture?
I think it was for a time, but then it overstayed its welcome.
I don't know.
Sure.
It had a impact, but culture. My question would be: is I know they do this with Star Wars, but they'll ask people like, "What are the characters' names in the original trilogy?" And people can name a bunch.
Greedo.
And then you talk about the new ones, and everyone's like, "I don't know anybody's name." So when it comes to things like Stranger Things, there's certain things people remember. But it's a series, and so it kind of just blends into whatever. And by the later series, it's all new people. It's all that. So it's like
When you watched the finale in a movie theater, was it cinema?
no.
Why not?
Oh.
Have you seen it?
I watched it in a similar. I might have been.
I mean,
in the
have you
same
seen
room.
it?
Yes.
It's not cinema.
Why? But can you describe why?
The look of it's not cinema because almost all CGI now has relinquished itself to being video game graphics. So if you want to be cinema, you have to say, I need to elevate this above what people are willing to accept because it needs to have a higher standard. Then number two, because it's a TV show, they don't ever take the time to do any of the stuff that makes it a movie because they just have to get to the next thing. So you're watching something to be entertained, to see a conclusion, to see this stuff, but it's not like something where at the end of Empire Strikes Back, it's built up to something and then you're like, this blew my mind. It was like you're watching all this stuff and then you're like, oh, that's it? You just smash the thing, and then now we're just sitting on top, and everyone's gonna go there. Like, it's not. There's never like it's cathartic in the moment because you know as an audience that there's going to be no new episodes of this.
There's literally going to be new episodes this year that are cartoons.
Animated.
I know, take
but
place
not
between
of this.
2 and
They're gonna the IP will continue on.
Yeah.
But like if you want to watch this specific group of actors in this, that's not happening anymore. But there was nobody who's going to ever quote like that scene at the end where they did this. Like they're going to vaguely describe what happened, but it's never in detail, and it's never like if you're like, you know, like another line, I need a bigger boat. Like there's nothing that has a cultural impact like that from a show that is undeniably the biggest thing to ever come off Netflix thing, and it literally just went, made him a ton of money. Everybody was entertained. You know, that whole "Are you entertained?" But like, what's the thing? What's the one image, the one line, the one thing that you're just like seared into your brain from that show? And I would say that there's nothing.
Demogorgons. They made D&D not lame.
Did you see A Quiet Place? Are the other Demogorgons that look? I mean, they're all basically the same thing that we saw around the same time.
Yeah, everything looks all these creatures in Cloverfield, right?
Yeah.
Kind of looks like the same. Everything looks the same.
So it's not like when the Millennium Falcon came out and you're like, that doesn't look like a ship that could fly, and it somehow sticks. It's like, oh yeah, it's those like plant creatures that have teeth. I've seen those before. Like these are their own unique thing, but it's not like, well, I've never seen, it's not like Jurassic Park where like it's the first time I watched dinosaurs walk. You're like, I've seen this in 4 other projects. So therefore I know what a Demogorgon is. But it's not like no kid's waking up in the middle of the night, wetting his bed thinking of Demogorgons. It's just not happening. But when you saw Gremlins, kids were scared for weeks of Gremlins.
That's
like,
because of the. Well, here's the thing: is that like there are kids who saw Demogorgons in Target, and there are kids who saw Gremlins in pizza commercials 30 years prior to that, and I do think that those had similar levels of cultural impact.
I bet you could go to people that watched. Now, when did the Gremlins come out? 40 years ago?
1984, yeah.
So if 40 years ago, you go to anybody who watched it, and I bet you they could name a couple.
Gizmo.
And who's
Right.
There you go. I bet you 40 years from now, you're going to ask anybody who would name a character from Stranger Things.
Name a human from Gremlins.
That's Billy.
Yeah.
Billy would be. That's like saying Bob.
But Billy was
the name of the fucking character.
It's a character, yeah. That's what you're...
But Billy was not the star of that show. Billy was just there. The star of the show was Gremlins. That's why they called it
both
Gremlins.
of them.
But he's nobody. It's not like Karate Kid where you wanted to be him.
Yeah,
he's just Billy.
Gizmo.
I want Gizmo and I want Stripe and I want to see the madness.
I want to know karate and have a gremlin. God damn it!
So I'm just saying that like 40 years from now, you ask any of the kids that are the same age that watch. They might not be able to mention many of the characters because I think it's just going to leak out and be gone.
Some of the things that persist over time might not be what should persist over time. So that is the counter I would leave you on.
But culturally, it's what sticks is what makes the culture.
Agreed.
It doesn't mean that it should be the thing that sticks, but to have cultural relevance means you have to have it ingrained in a collective consciousness, and that is not what is being done.
And again, it's like Citizen Kane. We have the decades of proof. It's not speculation. Like we know what has stuck over decades, and we know Gizmo and Stripe have stuck from Gremlins over 40 years.
William Hurst. That's the name of the
William Hurst.
The real life guy. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Now, if we take 300 years from now, at some point, Citizen Kane will relinquish because we're not training that anymore, and people will think it's boring and they won't watch. So, like, that is not in perpetuity for the rest of humankind. But if this is the industry you love and this is storytelling, you have to plant flags that these matter. And if we just forget about them and we just crank out what's there, then you're left with, the sands going through your fingers. You got nothing left to hold. Which is why I think, regardless of what you want to stick, we don't know what's going to stick, but we should be able to spot saying that has value above that, not because it's better or worse, but there's just something about it that is art that matters. And that's what I look for when I watch things.
Kirk really wants to end this.
Yeah, I think that's a great ending point.
I
Great
just want to ask
sentiment.
one thing.
All right,
I
go ahead.
promise to end it on. Wait, can I ask this one question? Okay.
Go ahead.
Would you prefer the sci-fi Dune or the 1984 David Lynch Dune? Since you don't like Denis Villeneuve's Dune.
See, I like Denny.
Everyone
I don't think
likes-
I like Dune.
Yeah, I get that. It's about the rise of fascism. You shouldn't like it.
Correct. But I'm just saying, like, it is the
They
sort
don't
of thing.
throw the ring in the end.
It's
Save
like
the day.
other people. Now, granted, I'm the person. Everybody know that like they read books and then they're disappointed that the movies. I just don't read the books, so I don't have to be disappointed like that. But then I should be able to pick up on what everybody likes. Everybody who likes sci-fi, and I'm a big sci-fi fan, loves Dune. So I don't know why it doesn't resonate with me. But like the new Dunes, it's like, again, nothing sticks. Like there's things in it that like it's, it's compelling. I hear the sound design, I see that image, but at the end of it, you're kind of like,
That's exactly the same for me. I don't remember any. I saw
Is it-
both of them. I don't
is it
remember
Is it fair
fucking
to
anything.
say that
from.
now, though? It's only been a few years for Dune and Dune 2. We cannot account for that.
My counter to them is just the shaking sand. Like I did think and feel something, and I was running through the Mall of America the other day with the younger Farxling, and was running in a circuitous path to because she's small and can't run as fast. And I thought, oh yeah, this is like Dune when they have to do that stupid walking as to not get the sandworms to come and.
If I want to watch Sandworms, I'm gonna watch fucking Tremors. Like I still remember Tremors.
See,
and
but
it's
now
36 years
here's
old.
Tremors is an infinitely more enjoyable movie to watch than Dune.
But
It's
when's
cinematic,
cinema and when's
but Dune is more cinematic than Tremors.
Yeah, it's true.
when then? I think we won't be able to answer, but there is something to this. Yes, but I think both matter.
But my counter would say is if Dune is cinema and Tremors is the disposable.
It's still cinema.
Where is Tremors?
One's a film, one's a movie.
No. But where if those two exist, where do either of those exist in the new medium? I don't think anything close to Tremors has been on any streaming site in the last 15 years.
I'm sure they're like I saw Cold Storage recently, and that I'm not going to say is exactly in the same vein as Tremors, but I would watch more of this like fungus zombie thing they're starting to do. I like
See, but
that.
what you just said there is the problem.
What?
I would
watch more of that,
more
yeah.
of that
Not
as opposed to
Dune.
The idea of fungus zombie. This movie I saw was a Liam Neeson movie close to January, and I had forgotten Liam was going to be in it because I tried.
Wait,
not to
let's
watch
be fair.
shows.
Would you guys want to watch more Tremors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do?
Me,
Yeah.
the
I
most
would
recent
watch more
ones?
Tremors if done right. Like not more done like how the last
Yeah, the
5
Iceland
movies
Yeah.
were. Like I don't want more of Tremors 7 with Napoleon Dynamite co-starring in it. Like, but yes,
In
more
a
of.
heartbeat, if Hollywood
Yeah.
came and said,
Uh-huh.
we want you to reboot Tremors,
Tremors.
I would be in a nanosecond. I
Uh-huh.
think there's way more there to mine that would be enjoyable and would be closer to cinema than what they're doing now. Is that ever going to be like the culturally like landmark? Like, are we going to reinvent Tremors to be like the new? No, but like, I bet you I could make that to be the new thing that went on streaming that people are like, wow, this is way better than it should be. And you're like, yeah.
Did you know like they shot a pilot with Kevin Bacon for Amazon?
It's just
Oh wow, they
crazy.
did.
And someone leaked a trailer because it couldn't have been real because it was using the It Follows score as the backing music, so it had to have been like not really legit. I mean, but it was legit footage, but like it wasn't supposed to come out. But like I would have watched that if it had
100%
finished
would've watched
it.
that.
Yeah,
Probably
That's
would
what
have
I-
been done by a bad director, and I'd be bitching about it. But I would have watched it.
yeah, it had to have been better than like the last 3 that they did with.
Yeah, but see, that's also the problem. When we start ranking it on this is utter garbage and it's got to be better than that,
yeah.
that's the whole George Lucas hocus pocus.
Yes.
We have to remember, is it as good? How close is it to the original?
Yeah.
Not just was it better than the crap that
It
came
can
out.
be
That's true.
different and also cinematically valuable, like what Brian Fuller did with the Hannibal TV show is of
I just
cinematic
think what
value.
we've gotten down to is you're a TV guy, which is totally fine.
No, that's true.
That's
That was
totally
always
fine.
true.
But
Yeah.
like, you can't culturally TV.
Matters more.
No, matters less. But it's also dying because the stuff that has been culturally relevant in series has been dwindling the same way because they're stopped making the great TV shows. Now they're just making them into content that's being pumped out. But it's like when people talk about, I like this movie or book better than the movie. You like TV better than movies. Totally fine. Not even going to argue about it.
I don't know that that's true, but that's a fair argument for this.
I'm just saying, like, it sounds like a lot of times you're like, but then I go back to this TV show and like, it's cool. Like
cinematographic quality was one of the arguing angles, but sorry, I don't want to end you were.
Oh no, I was picking up on a theme that I was just throwing out there. Is that possible?
Sure. Well, I was going on Brian Fuller. I know we were supposed to end when we started
go ahead.
talking about Dune, but like because I want to see a Tremors TV show because we have to take the what was previously a cinematographic franchise and bring it to TV because they did it with Evil Dead, and you like that. They did it with Chucky, you like that, and
they did Tremors as a TV show already back in 2003. It was focused on like the Michael Gross character, but like the Amazon one it had Kevin Bacon in the trailer. It looked more serious. Like
they definitely spent a lot of money and filmed something. They just chose not to release it because Jennifer Salk has left her position over there or something. Yeah, that was under her regime for sure. Yeah. She was previously the head of content at NBC, so maybe I am. I follow both things.
Yeah, see, it's okay. There's great television too.
I don't want to believe in the shitification of everything, though. That's the thing I'm afraid of. You may be right. You've come here with that message today.
I think everything gets
but that's
everything.
necessarily a bad
even
thing.
film and TV.
I mean, you watch products break more frequently. Houses that are new, like at some point, I think creation goes beyond cinema, TV. Creation is in everything. It's in engineering. It's in building. It's in all the stuff. And right now we are just trying to squeeze and suck away all the stuff that makes it worth holding on to. And that's across the board. And once we stop fighting for that and just be like, we'll just go along with it, that's the trouble. And that's my old man get off my lawn speech is like, the reason it matters is it matters across the board because creation is at the heart of what humans do. And we're at our best when we create things of value that are original and are part of us, that we're trying to help others. If we're just trying to like, hey, we'll just sell you something to occupy your mind, then it's like the whole Matrix thing. You take the pill, put me back in. I want to taste the meat, but I don't want to think.
Yeah, I'm just going to be in a pod being used as a battery.
I had planned out a line earlier that was like, well, I don't want to just go along, but I want to get along with my brother. And I was going to like exit out that way.
That's how we ended, yeah.
Yeah, but do you want to go to Nick for anything?
Yeah, Nick, any last thoughts?
Unless you got
to overnight delivery.
Overnight delivery.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we talked about that.
Yeah.
I can see.
I'm not sorry we watched it.
So I noticed that it was another New Line Cinema release produced with the same producers as Dumb and Dumber. Brad Crevoy and Steve Motion Picture Corporation of America.
Another road movie with a rom-com.
And I'm like, okay, I bet they read this script. I don't know what the process was, if this was a spec script or what. I feel like it was. Another road movie. Maybe you'll do a more romantic comedy spin on Dumb and Dumber. They lose their transportation. They're walking down a road. A lot of similarities with Dumb and Dumber. I felt like that's what got it made. And maybe that's all that got made. I don't know.
Minnesota tax credits too.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean,
are you in the Minnesota Film Alliance?
No.
What's stopping?
I was talking about what got it made. Like what's
let Nick finish his point.
Like why did they pick this script up to decide to make it before you get into like where we're going to shoot it and where has the best tax incentives? I think it was very episodic. I think a lot of coincidences. I think the script is a mess. It was entertaining. It was cute, not so much funny.
I've never heard you use cute.
It's like yeah, it's amusing. It's not like the characters are cute, but I don't find it that funny. And I just like it pissed me off all the coincidence. Like they kept running into the fucking delivery truck. Like,
see, did anybody else just every time you saw him, did you just think of Darkman? Did you guys see Darkman?
Darkman and the opening of American Pie 2.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's in those.
yeah.
He's the dad at the college dorm.
And it's the twins and Darkman are going through the... See, the fact that like these are etched in your mind. I don't have a scene like this from Stranger Things. Yeah.
And that's Darkman.
And Darkman's not up here.
Yes, see, that's the thing.
It's Sam Raimi.
It's culturally relevant that like you can have these discussions and more than one person's like, what are you talking about?
Well, I thought of I want my $2 from Better Off Dead with the every time the delivery driver showed up.
Kid. Yeah.
This movie made me think of a bunch of other movies. They're like, oh yeah, they've made a bunch of movies like this, and there are a lot better examples, but.
Or were they from the Midwest?
Exactly.
I will say,
you gave me a real small parameter, I ran with it. I went the deep cut. This is the C-track off the recommendation wall at Blockbuster that I'm laughing with my friend, being I wonder if anyone's going to pick that one up, and you picked it up.
Blockbuster was referenced in some of the research I did of like who would have taken this up at a Blockbuster and like how quickly did they get rid of these, however many copies was made of this.
Those went in the sale bin pretty quick, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But now they're probably worth a lot because, VHSs are worth money. And oh, you don't know about this?
Are they really? I got some right up there. I got Brad Pitt in
You start looking
class.
at it. They're all starting, like that's becoming a hot collector item that they're now going for real money.
Really?
Just gotta get it signed. And...
This is your sign to look them up.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see how much Cutting Class with Brad Pitt from 1989 is. High school slasher movie. It's right up there.
$75.
You could see the spark in him though. I'm not lying. You can
I just definitely see the spark in them.
He doesn't believe in spark.
No. I just know how to end the show.
So we just know that he's not going to be... He might pick out the content and the story. He's not in charge of casting.
Oh, I never want to be involved in casting. I can direct and I can act. I can't do... Well, I don't know that I can act, to be fair.
We're narrowing it down. We're finding our positions, which is good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the classification and finding where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, now let's find where Barry's at in his interview. Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.